Welcome back to Sham's Makeup Artistry, and if this is the very first time you're tuning into my channel, my name is Shamala. Make sure you subscribe to my channel before you leave my channel. Today I'm going to do a review on the new Fenty Beauty. This is their Stunna Lip Paint Long Wear Fluid Lip Color. I did pick out two of the shade out of the 4 newly released shade. The very first one that I picked out was Uncuffed and the other one is Unbutton. This particular lip paints retail at $24 and they are available at Sephora. When Fenty Beauty released their very first lip paint, which was Uncensored, it's a truly red shade. I definitely went ahead and picked this up. I do love this lip paint, but the formula on this lip paint is a little bit runny and it gets everywhere on the lips if you do not apply a lip liner with it, or if you do not carefully put it on. They tend to smear on me, but I still love it because the shade is really beautiful. So I'm going to swatch this after I swatch the new ones, but with this one it was my favorite, although it was more of like a runny formula. After watching a couple of reviews, I heard that this one has more of like a thicker texture comparing to the very first one. So I'm going to actually apply it while I'm talking to you. I have already tried out the shade Unbutton, which is much more like a nude shade, and it is pretty nude when you look at it itself. This is how it looks like. It's very similar to the very first packaging. I do like this packaging. They look like nail polishes, but they're very sturdy. For $24, the packaging is definitely a must-have because it's very sturdy and it looks luxurious. Again, the very first shade here is Unbutton. It's much more like an upfront nude shade, which will go very beautifully on fair skin tone, but I definitely wanted to give it a go to see how it works on my skin tone, and I wanted to see if my favorite lip liner from Sephora would make it work together. And I did try it this morning. I kind of took a long time to make it work because it looked very pale on my skin, and I personally felt that with a lip liner it looked much better. Without a lip liner it kind of looked very light on my skin. So if you're referring to my skin tone, I'm more of like an NC44 to NC45 in the MAC range. So I do have a deeper skin tone. For me, it kind of wore very light. So if you're kind of like around my skin tone, you may want to get a reference of it because this does wear light on my skin tone. So let's make it work with a lip liner. So let me show you guys how it kind of looks like without the lip liner. So this is how the applicator looks like. Fenty Beauty actually has a unique applicator when it comes to the lip paint because it has like an edge where you can apply it very nicely over the lips. So I'm just going to place my lip paint right there, and then I'm going to apply it on my lips even before I apply the lip liner. So as you can see, it's pretty light on my lips. This texture looks runny, and you can see how it gets messy when you don't have a lip liner. It does feel a little bit more thick in texture when you work with it, but it still kind of looks wet on the lips. And it kind of emphasized the lines on the lip area. It doesn't feel heavy on the lips, but it does emphasize the lines that I have on my lip area. Even though I've applied the second coat of it, it still looks very light on my lips. So this one may not be it if you're on my skin tone. If you're going to just wear it alone, it's not going to look good for me. I personally do not like it this way, but I'm going to make it work with a lip liner. So the lip liner that I'm going to use today is by Sephora and is in the shade Mesquite. So this is how the very first shade looks like on my lips after I've worked it with my lip liner. I personally feel that these formulas are not as runny as the very first one, but it's still runny on me. I still have to like clean the areas that I've put it on and then make sure that it hasn't smeared before I actually feel comfortable with myself, because sometimes I feel that it do get messy when you're trying to apply it on your lips. I personally felt that on my skin tone I have to work it on a little bit more with the very first shade that I've shared with you guys. It's a beautiful shade. If you have fair skin tone, definitely this would work as a good nude for you guys. For deeper skin tone girls, we probably need to work a little bit harder. We need to use like a deep lip liner shade with it and then try to make it work. I personally would not have picked this out if I knew that this was like really light on my skin tone. So let's move on to the next shade. The next shade that I have here is Uncuffed. This is described much more like a movie shade, so I assume that this would work out for me. So I'm just removing it from the packaging. From the packaging, it still looks like it's a lighter mauvey shade. So I'm going to see how this would work on my lips, comparing it to the other one that we tried earlier. So again, it does look pretty runny to me, but it's much more emollient than the very first one. So I'm going to apply it without a lip liner. My lips are pretty dry, so this shade looks much more wearable, but I still kind of feel that I need to put on a lip liner with it. So this is how it looks like on my skin with one layer of the lip paint. It does dry down pretty fast. So I'm going to just allow it to dry a little bit before I put on the second layer of it. This shade has dried down pretty much, but for me I feel that it looks much more pink than a mauve shade on my skin tone. But this shade does look very beautiful. Like in person I'm seeing it, I do like the shade, but again I kind of prefer to wear a lip liner with it. So I'm just going to apply the lip liner and then I will come back. So this is how the second shade looks like. Again, this is in the shade Uncuffed. I did use the lip liner with it. I kind of really liked once I lined my lip and then I put this on. They kind of look much more neat and organized on the lips. And I would definitely recommend those of you who have medium to deeper skin tone to try this one comparing to the very first one. And this one will also work really well with every other skin tone. Of course, it's dupeable comparing it to many of the mauve shades that are out there already. But this one does wear very comfortable on the lips and it doesn't feel dry or tacky on the lips. So I would definitely give this a go. So I'm just going to remove the shade that I'm wearing on my lips right now, and I'm also going to swatch the shade Uncensored because some of you may not know how it looks like on my skin tone. So I just wanted you guys to have a picture of it. So excuse me if I would have had any lipsticks over my mouth area and also my teeth, because this was getting everywhere while I was swatching it. So let's move on to the last one, which is Uncensored. I'm just going to apply this and then we are good to go. Like I mentioned, this one has more of like a runny formula, and I'm just going to apply this on my lips. They do have two more deeper shades. One of it is like pretty black and the other one is like deep brown. So if you guys are into it, you may want to check them out. I might check the deep brown one probably later, like towards more of fall to winter. The only thing I see with this lip paint is I have to always fill in the gaps. There are gaps which are not filled, which I have to like just fill it in a little bit here and there. So this is how the shade Uncensored looks like on my skin tone. Of course, this one has to be one of my very favorite kind of red because it wears so beautifully on the lips and it's very comfortable on the lips. The only thing that I'm always worried about is whether or not it's going to smear, so I end up looking at myself a couple of times around the go into the mirror. So that's the only pain that I have with this lip paints. Overall, I do like this lip paints. I do find them feeling very comfortable on the lips. I kind of feel sad that the shade Unbutton does look pretty light on my skin tone, but I will make it work with my lip liner or probably even a deeper lip liner with it. So we're pretty much done for today, and I hope that you found the lip paint swatches and also my review being helpful for you guys to decide or not if you're going to pick up the Fenty Beauty lip paint. And to my very next one, stay beautiful both inside and out. Give me a thumbs up, share all your love and support, and not to forget to subscribe to my channel. Goodbye.